highlights. If you listen to the audio from last week, and I was like, I don't know what what the question was, but it was a little bitty black African American person kind of laying over here saying, I'm gonna have some obvious signs. That would be Alexis. But did anybody think more about obvious signs as you went home, maybe, or no, maybe not? I definitely was kind of thinking about that. And maybe, what was your conclusion concerning obvious signs? Do you need an obvious sign to move in a different direction? Do you need to hear clearly from the Lord with a clear, obvious sign that I need to go to Spring Hill College? Don't all jump at once. Raise your hand if you feel like you got to have a clear, obvious sign. Raise your hand if no, you don't need to have a clear, obvious sign to move. Raise your hand if you don't know.
You can't just go. Either way.
Oh, you can go either way?
Either way. Sometimes you may have a clear, obvious sign, and sometimes God just says, move, and I'll bless it when you move.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like he tells Abraham, it don't matter which way you go, either way you go, I'm going to bless you.
Girl, it sounds like you sleep with me.
I do.
Hey, come here.
I think that's how
Took the word right out of my mouth. Took the word right out of my mouth. Everybody looking for it, like, wow. We also talked about maybe whether God calls you to specific places or he calls you to specific occupations. Which one do you think? Does God call you to a specific place in life, or does he call you to a specific occupation?
I think both.
Somebody say both? Why say both? Be loud.
I don't think God has called me to no specific occupation. I know Mobile is the place he called me to be.
Right.
You know, it just seems like, once again, everything is just falling into place for me to, God will put you in a place, man, where he needs you to be, and he'll make provisions work for you to be in that place. If not, I mean, he'll definitely move you. I just totally just did everything to him. So right now, everything just seems to be falling into place. And I definitely feel like Mobile is the place that he's called me to be at. I don't know what's going to happen. You know, I honestly can't even tell you what I expect from my future, but I know Mobile is the place he called me to be.
Yeah.
So,
How much, one question I kind of started getting hot on the third, hey girl, you better stop asking them questions. One question I kind of got hot on at the Thursday Bible study that kind of carried over was, how much planning is too much planning, and how much planning is too little planning in regards to your future? What do you think? Go ahead, Kirsten.
I think too much planning is when you just have every single detail like written out, and you leave no options for yourself to be able to decide, well, if something happens, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. That's too much planning.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, T.
I think the planning depends on who's planning it, whether you're planning it or whether God's planning it. If you're planning it,
What would it look like if God were planning it?
I mean, if he's if it's the will that he has for you, and you figure out what it is and you live in it, then that's not too much planning. But if you try to change it or try to make steps towards what you think you're supposed to do, I think that's too much planning.
So, how many of y'all would agree that you can be over anal about your plans, your future? Yeah. How many believe you can be a bad steward about planning for your future? Not so much. Courtney's thinking. Bridge, you thinking? What do you mean? Who believes that you can't be a bad steward about planning? Like, you can't underplan. Does that make sense? So y'all said, I had the hands that were raised over here that said, you know what? Yes, I believe that, you know what, you can actually get to a point where you're not putting enough thought into your future. Is that what I heard? That's what you guys raised your hand? Yeah. So on adversely, I want to make sure I got the hands raised. Who believes that, you know what? You don't have to put that much thought into your future. So everybody believes you need to be putting thought into your future. All right, okay, fair enough. Last but not least, though, just in kind of thinking and wrapping up last week, will God ever call you to sacrifice your talents to chase a practical career?
Are we putting talents in the same bowl as gifts, or?
Yeah. Will God ever call you to put, let me bring it even to, see if I can explain it further. Will God call you to put your dream on hold to be practical? Give me an example. What do you think?
Anyone who sings on a church praise team, their dream might be to have a record deal, or, for instance, now even praise team, those people have other jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're not getting paid to do that service at all. So, if their dream was to sing, or their talent is to sing, they have to put that on hold, because right now, at the place of which they are, they're not able to really do it on that type of level that it could, pay from some form of salary. And the Bible says if a man don't work, he don't eat. So I don't care how great you sing for the Lord on a Sunday morning at your church, if they can't pay, so you gotta find some form of way to take care of your needs.
Would God ever call you to sacrifice a practical career to chase a talent or a dream? I got some squirmers. Come on, man, talk to me. Y'all ain't got nothing to share today. Do you think God would call you to stop the 9 to 5 to go chase the singing career?
Yes. I think there's a difference between a man-made dream and a God-given dream, and that's the difference.
How would you know the difference between the two?
Well, speaking from personal experience, of course my gift is music, and I've never had to go look for a job or do anything outside of music because God made that provision for that dream. So I guess I guess He already lays out that plan for you. So you don't really have to say, okay, at this point I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. So I think it goes back to that plan question. You can overplan. You can, because I used to want to be a dentist. That ain't happening. Because that wasn't God's plan.
Bro, I gotta need a root canal right now, Brusky. So your dreams are validated almost in retrospect. So you don't know if it's a God dream until it comes to pass?
I don't know, because there's a lot of people who are forcing dreams right now as we speak and are living out a dream that God probably had nothing to do with how it came to pass.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot what I was saying.
Gina takes my
What was the
breath.
question again?
It's yours.
I forgot.
So Gina's confusing me too, because y'all are telling me, yes, chase that if it's gonna give God glory. Derek says, but you know what? You need to know whether it's a man-made dream or a God-made dream. How do I know? Is it only after it comes to pass or after it fails that I realize, oh, hey, that was a man-made dream right there. that's pretty simple.
I definitely think if it's a God-made dream, certain things will happen that only God can do. When everything else around you seems like it's not working and it's falling apart, God will open up a door out of nowhere. And if the door is closed, He'll open a window for you, to make provision for what He needs to get done. And as a man-made dream, doors will be closed and you'll be like, well, I want to do it. He said to push it something that's not going forth. It doesn't have His blessing.
Cool. Anybody else want to chime in on that? I think as we kind of wrap, B, that was a hand?
I was gonna say but like what he was saying, that God will show signs that only He can do. But we can't look at natural stuff, because stuff can be looking terrible. But this is the will of God, because God may be doing different stuff at that season, that time, and getting you to trust Him and that kind of thing. But at the same